Well, this Kennedy is coming up with the remedy for America's health problem.
The most profitable asset in America today is a sick child.
Basically, our population en masse is being drugged for profit.
The money's made keeping them chronically ill, keeping them on drugs.
It's the same structure, it's the same problem, and it's all motivated by money.
Is it just money? As of course, there's a lot of billionaires out there that have a different agenda, that already have all the money. And we'll get into that in just a little bit, as of course, RFK Jr. just released his latest trailer promising some major, significant changes to the American healthcare industry, which I think are more important than ever, as he announced that his dealings with Donald Trump will specifically declare a national health emergency during the first days of his potential days in offices. What does that mean? What is that kind of going to be signaling to the larger industries that are currently profiting off of our suffering and misery? Well, that's going to be an interesting topic to discuss here, as of course, there's going to be a lot of individuals that are not happy with this particular news, that are probably going to be pulling out all the stops in order to, of course, prevent it from moving forward. All of this, as a lot of independent content creators that are personally under attack, are talking about health as a larger, bigger issue that the American public has to deal with, as this is something that I think is the most important topic of discussion, as of course, if we continue going the way that we are going right now, if the level of illnesses, obesity, autism keep going up the way that they are, we no longer will have a country, as of course, fertility rates down dramatically, population rates far below replacement levels, as of course, we are on the precipice of a health Armageddon that is absolutely critical to pay attention to, since almost everything at our mainline establishment society is pushing us, incentivizing us, and creating us into fat, lazy, stupid little consumers that are perfect for subjugation, enslavement, and control. As of course, a lot of people have kind of prophesized that there is a larger agenda out there to make you fat, sick, and dumb. And looking around, seeing the players that are involved here, seeing everything in the way that it's kind of unfolding here, yeah, I think they make a legitimate, compelling case and argument. As Joe Rogan recently hosted a conversation with Terrence Howard, and whatever you might think about this particular individual, the two brought up the larger kind of health problem that the average American is dealing with, as they described how cancers have increased 300%. All-cause mortality up 40% in the same age groups. Pulmonary embolisms almost up 500%. What caused all this? What's responsible for all of this? Well, something that, of course, probably we cannot discuss here on this particular platform, since other content creators were literally banned from even discussing larger hypotheses about what potentially could be causing all of this.
It's the government, man.
You think it's not?
I think it is sometimes. I assume they listen to everything I say.
They do.
I'm sure.
They do. You
It's
took
a lot of boring.
You took a bold stand, though, years ago when the governments were trying to poison their citizens. You took a very bold stand that nobody else took. That's what I was like, wow, I appreciate you, because I lost 3-4 jobs because I refused to take it.
As conversations like this, sadly, are widely censored and disincentivized from the YouTube algorithm, that, of course, prevents people from even having these serious discussions from even a scientific point of view. That's why if you're watching this video, share it with your friends and family members, because you can bet your bottom dollar the algorithm isn't really going to be that friendly to it. As, of course, we said particular keywords that the algorithm right now is picking up and deboosting this post as of right now. But to me, this video is too important to make. This is a topic of discussion that a lot of people are dealing with. You probably, or you yourself, are dealing with someone that has very significant health issues that are not only draining their monetary financial livelihood away, but their life source, the human spirit energy, which I believe is directly under targeted attack by some sinister dark forces out there that are probably messing around in the interdimensional demonic sphere and trying to suppress their larger enemy, and that is the larger light force, the human spirit of ingenuity, of curiosity, that is their direct enemy, according to my own personal opinion. As even the clip of Terrence Howard and the issues he discussed here, we probably can't, of course, play here. But don't worry. We have Ozempic as the mainline medical institutions and corporate media keep talking about this magic pill that fat people take and no longer are fat, as of course other people are mentioning, hey, I would kind of do a little bit more research on this. I would wait until there's a little bit more of a long-term kind of understanding of the bigger implications here, as a lot of people also report a lot of unknown kind of side effects when it comes to this particular, quote, miracle drug that is literally selling out in all of the United States. Yes, there are larger shortages of Ozempic because of how many people are starting to use them. This, as we keep hearing story after story, as now the story gets even more complicated. Now there's the rise of Ozempic BBLs. Yes, you heard that correctly. As appointments doubled at a clinic that provides the drug and then helps their clients get Brazilian butt lifts because they get saggy butts afterwards. Yes, you heard that correctly. We're not going to be showing you any of the images here. Family-friendly show here, as of course... yeah, this is where we're at. A sad, tragic day of kind of affairs, because you would think, proper, real, legitimate conversations with medical professionals and the general public would be had here about, maybe not relying on just one particular pill to fix everything in your health. Maybe we could have an all-encompassing kind of perspective and look at someone's diet, someone's stress levels, someone's sleep, someone's ability to, of course, exercise, walk around, move around, and get a larger purview of their blood and what's in them and what's happening inside of them and outside of them, to get a comprehensive perspective on, hey, this issue actually affects you on a unique individual basis that you should uniquely kind of address in this own particular way in order to solve your own problems. But no, those conversations, not incentivized. We have a pill here that's going to make us a ton of money that you're going to pay top dollar for. Here you go. And that's the type of life that we are living. As, of course, it's fair to say that the establishment has created a lot of horrible things all around us, not just by poisoning our food supply, our water supply, and our environment through, of course, multinational corporations that they do business with, and they allow to do horrible, unspeakable things to everything all around us, as, of course, the regulators. They're usually the top people in the industry from that multinational corporation that has a revolving door with the industries that, of course, they, quote, regulate, which essentially means kind of destroy their competitors and create non-free market-like conditions that incentivize a lot of these huge corporations to be as powerful as they are without anyone ever being able to stand in their way, predominantly because of government intervention. As, of course, regulators are supposed to look out for the general public. And it's fair to say our government has been absolutely hijacked, and they're looking out for the benefit of the people tied into those industries and the people that, of course, have a revolving door and access to the keys of the regulations that predominantly, overwhelmingly, in my opinion, benefit the people that, of course, are pulling the strings rather than the people that are supposed to be represented here. And when you look at our food supply, when you go to the grocery store, I went to a regular grocery store yesterday. I usually try to find kind of alternatives or more kind of health-conscious grocery stores, but I had to go to the regular one. And I wasn't able to pick up majority of the items that I wanted to because of I'm kind of like looking around here. I'm like, okay, let's take a look at, oh my God, why is this crap here? Even the boxes that say, no, we're natural. No, this is great. This is a healthy option. You take a look at the packaging. And then you got to turn it around and you got to look at the little small print. And then you got to look for, of course, the dyes, the seed oils, the high fructose corn syrups, and all these artificial, made-up, heavily processed ingredients that are there in every almost single piece of food in that supermarket that is absolutely, in my opinion, absolutely atrocious and horrible for your health. It's something that, of course, humanity hasn't eaten before, as the mainline kind of consensus is that you shouldn't be eating real butter, you shouldn't be eating eggs, you shouldn't be eating meat. As, of course, that's something that we've been eating for a very long time. And humanity, by and large, especially many decades ago, was doing a lot better than how we are doing now. Ever since we started to introduce processed food, seed oils, you saw the huge increase in heart disease, which used to be rare. It no longer is. Obesity used to be rare. it no longer is. But somehow, the medical institutions that also, and the regulators that have been hijacked by the special interest groups are telling you that's the diet that we always ate that's bad for you. And again, my particular take on this issue is whatever diet is right for you should be right for you on an individual one-on-one basis, because not only do people have allergies, but people have particular different wants and needs based on their own kind of activity schedule, based on their own kind of life. Other people say you shouldn't ever eat carbs. Personally, I love carbs, and all my health ratings have gone up dramatically ever since I started to reintroduce those into my own personal life. But that's just me. Carbs could be absolutely awful to you, especially if you are obese and huge. There's another kind of topic about fasting. Fasting was good for me at one particular point, but no longer is, and I'm not having good benefits from personally fasting myself. Is fasting good for you? Well, it depends. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But it's fair to say we're living in a system that's been hijacked, that creates a problem, and then later on sells you the solution to it. As online internet commentator Alex Jones says, responding to this particular Joe Rogan and Terrence Howard clip, that what this topic of discussion that they're going into is essentially a depopulation weapon that governments use to, quote, attack us. Now, his extrapolation here might seem sensationalistic to a lot of people, to a lot of normies, to a lot of NPCs, but truly delving down and looking into all the chemicals, all the substances all around us, all the things that you have to now proactively know about, take steps to not be affected by, are absolutely extremely long. And only if you're really trying to pay attention, only if you're kind of being hyper paranoid about your health, maybe you're able to, of course, escape some of the toxins, the poisons out there that our system and government stamps and approves for everyone to, of course, be surrounded by. Now, Tucker Carlson also has been another prominent kind of anti-establishment individual that has taken up on these types of conversations, hosting a lot of medical health professionals on his new latest podcast show that is being absolutely dominant in the podcast circles, as Tucker Carlson's podcast is the #1 podcast in America. And it does seem like a lot of people are turning around and actually starting to discuss these issues and to think about these issues in a perspective that is far more far-ranging than it previously was beforehand. As even though Mike Cernovich might kind of disagree with his larger perspective of Americans turning around here or caring or considering their own personal health here, I would at least agree with him that the conversation, the discussion, is at least starting. And one of the individuals that, of course, has led this path is RFK Jr., who, of course, we played you a small clip of his kind of new health trailer for America in the beginning of this. I want to play the rest of it since there's a key bombshell here that's very important, specifically when it comes to the potential Donald Trump administration that will be implementing, according to RFK, a larger health emergency protocol for the American public in a way that I think is absolutely critically needed. And we'll tell you why also Elon Musk agrees with that and is probably going to be a part of his team as the populations in the Western world are going down dramatically in very serious, very worrying ways.
One of the ways it would have to address it would be to encourage people to become metabolically healthy. We have zero encouragement. In fact, it is actually the opposite.
And don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again? I did the unthinkable, which was to join the Trump campaign. This occurred after weeks and weeks of talks with that campaign in which we became convinced of their commitment to make America healthier again. And he said to me, I want to leave this as my legacy. He's only going to be in for 4 years. This is what he told me. The best thing that he could do with his administration is to end the chronic disease epidemic. It got me into a position where I can actually do something to end the chronic disease epidemic. And we're going to start on day one. We're going to declare a public emergency.
This as the two released another moniker of Make America Healthy Again, as of course I decided even a few weeks ago, since this alliance kind of came forward, to make my own merchandise surrounding these larger ideas with this shirt that says Make America Not Fat Again, that you could exclusively get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. As of course, this larger kind of announcement here by RFK saying, hey, day one, we're not only going to be addressing this issue, tackling this issue, but we're going to declare an emergency. and deal with it face on is something that I find extremely encouraging, because personally, I had my own very severe kind of health issues that I haven't really told anyone about, that I've been kind of quiet about. And, I believe a lot of this stuff should be kind of personal. I like having a personal private life that I only share with my loved ones. I don't think everything should be kind of used for exploitation kind of brownie points out there. And I don't want people feeling bad for me, but I had some real serious stuff that I had to deal with. And personally, taking charge of my own life, my own health, has been absolutely incredible. I do a lot of weightlifting. I do a lot of walking. I prioritize my sleep. I do my best to try to stay away from stress, even though it's extremely difficult in this particular field with all the incidences that are unfolding, especially right now. But overall, being able to say, hey, my life matters. I'm taking it into my own hands. Hey, I'm actually going to be smart about this. Hey, I'm actually going to be looking at the ingredients of the food that I purchase at the supermarket to make sure that I'm not being poisoned here, even though I have my own cheat days sometimes. No one's perfect. 80-20 is my particular rule that I implement in my own life in order to deal with that stress, because sometimes you just don't have an option. And when you don't, it's better off not to stress out about it. But that's why I created the crap list of things that you should be avoiding at the supermarket that you get as an additional perk just by signing up to lukeunfiltered.com. As the situation on our hands right now is extremely dramatic, as even the IMF is warning about significant demographic decline that's going to highlight a lot of severe issues, specifically when it comes not only to the economy, but when it comes to the overall society, that will have less and less young people that are going to be not able to take care of the older people, as they declare that falling fertility rates and aging populations pose significant challenges for many economies. Yeah, no ish, but it's not just the larger economic numbers that are dependent on growth. It's, of course, our financial system needs to continue to grow. It cannot grow with less and less people in our society. This is one reason why a lot of people speculate that the borders have been opened wide to have a larger kind of economic advantage over countries with declining populations. China has a declining population, but they also do not open their borders. America does open up their borders, is trying to keep as many people here inside of this country in order to potentially propel larger economic growth, even though there's probably a larger kind of democratic agenda that is being implemented here. But you get the gist of what's potentially going on here and the significant kind of ramifications with all of that. As a lot of the major countries with the highest population declines are Western European nations. And this is something that is very real, something that is happening. And a lot of the countries are being able to obfuscate these numbers through, of course, literally just opening up the doors to random people that walk into their country that they take and tax the local population for, preventing them from having any kind of larger kind of financial security in their own lives. As, of course, in many Western nations, there are advertisements saying you should not have babies, particularly with white people, saying that it's, quote, bad for the weather, bad for the environment for some reason, even though their populations are going down dramatically. And then at the same time, some of these same kind of institutions and organizations are saying, we got to open up the border. There's just not enough people here for some reason. And I wonder why. As, of course, places like Japan are dealing with real big issues, as they are on the forefront of this particular major storm coming ahead that's going to be wreaking havoc on the rest of the Western world. One of the individuals that has been warning people about this is Elon Musk, that previously described a situation that he is seeing as a larger fight between expansionists and exterminists. As, of course, I think he represents an individual that is an expansionist, that literally is having a ton of babies, while other individuals like Bill Gates are seen as larger kind of exterminists that do not believe in the future progress and the propelling of a free humanity, as it's not just the birth rates that are alarming, but they are also connected not just to larger social issues of why people aren't having kids, but other health issues, as a lot of people who want to have kids are reporting more and more problems. Fertility rates going down dramatically. Why are they going down? Well, I have a thesis And it's even far beyond than just what happened in 2021. As, of course, the issue of what happened in 2021 is a big no-no for YouTube to particularly discuss here. But this problem has been happening way before that. And it's something that I've been caring about. It's something that I've been talking about. There's this issue specifically surrounding major kind of industries like Monsanto that previously were able to just do whatever kind of larger ungodly experiments they wanted to on the American food industry. And I think their larger experiments, as of course now they have been gobbled up by Bayer, and the larger lawsuits that they're also involved in, specifically when it comes to, the correlations of cancers that allegedly their products caused. Got to be safe here so we don't get sued here. But overall, looking at this kind of long-term kind of perspective and the long-term picture here, this is real, and this is something big. As Elon Musk says, birth rates continue to plummet. Population collapse is a certainty. As he retweeted Mario Nafal, that just highlighted how the EU faces a larger fertility crisis, as births are at a record low, and they continue to decline and go down in an absolute significant number that should be sounding the alarm bells for everyone within government. But no, a lot of these kind of programs, a lot of this propaganda, a lot of the social issues that lead to people having less children are propagated by the majority of politicians. And that's why seeing RFK and Donald Trump promising something different, promising an emergency declaration in the beginning, in the first days of their political careers, if they become successful, is going to be something that's, I think, in my opinion, an actual emergency that is actually needed. As, of course, previously, in my opinion, the emergencies that the government spurred on, created, and developed created the opposite effect of that. But for some reason, I think the guy who's been pointing to this problem, who's been censored dramatically for pointing to this problem, RFK Jr., could be, I think, the right person for the job to actually address this situation that is more important than ever. If you have a loved one, if you love yourself, you need to understand that you never appreciate your health until it's gone. For a lot of people, it's already too late. For a lot of people, it's already too far gone. Is it too far gone for you? Make sure you don't have those type of regrets. Make sure. I mean, I had particular situations where I'm like, holy cow, man, I wish I would have done things differently. Luckily, things worked out for me in a very positive way. But again, a lot of people aren't as lucky. A lot of people don't have their health. And if you're on the trajectory of being fat, being obese, not being able to, of course, sprint, you should try to change that. And if you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members. It's more imperative than ever. I love you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys specifically buying the shirts on lookunfiltered.com and signing up to our membership program as well. The links are down in the description below, and we talk about health in a more totally unfiltered way. I tell people my kind of health protocol. I even have a yoga routine. I even have a stretching routine specifically just for members of lookunfiltered.com, where I'm able to actually nerd out about these particular topics in a deeper level, describing the solutions that I implemented in my life that have personally greatly benefited me. So sign up to lookunfiltered.com. We have a huge segment specifically around health. And if you want to jumpstart your health process, check out lookunfiltered.com. Sign up right now, and I will see you there afterwards with a special broadcast. So many special broadcasts, totally unfiltered, specifically around health, just for you. And I will see you there. If it wasn't for you guys doing that, I wouldn't be here, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.